Hello again and welcome back. My name is Judith Brusson and I work as an ESOL teacher at the Howard School. I am also the content demonstration teacher for secondary grades ESOL. So today we are going to be working with nearpod, okay? I use it a lot in my classroom. Kids love it because it's very interactive and they don't realize that they're actually learning. So all I'm doing today is showing different clips of different things that we have done in my classroom, how I have used nearpod with vocabulary lessons because that's what I've been talking about in the last few videos, vocabulary. So let's go ahead and begin with today's video. This is a collaborative from Nearpod. As I mentioned before, I'm just going to be explaining different activities that I used in the Nearpod platform. And in this one, it's a collaborative where the students, as you can see, they're like sticky notes and they just write words or sentences, whatever you want them to write. In this one, this was the beginning of my lesson. What I wanted to know is what they remembered from the previous day's vocabulary lesson on the human body. As I mentioned, I have very low beginners. There were newcomers last year, and some of them came towards the end of the year. So I just need to review different things that they are supposed to already know, and they do, but some of them are a little bit slower in recalling that information. So this is a great strategy to use to see what they remember. It can be also used as an exit ticket. But anyways, in this one, they were asked to write all the body parts that they remembered. I told them I need at least 3 to 4. Body parts that you can tell me that you remember from the previous day, and they did. Now you have two ways to go with this one. They can see it right away, or you can hide it so that they don't copy from each other. Because again, you want to know what a particular student remembers. However, I did model it for them. So as you can see on top, it says teacher, teacher, teacher. I modeled different parts that I really didn't go, I didn't actually teach them the day before. I just wanted to model them different ones, and it's a learning opportunity as well, because then they will ask me what is a lung or liver or brain, whatever, and I can actually take that opportunity to actually go a little deeper and explain. Again, awesome activity either for a formative assessment as the beginning of the lesson or as a formative assessment as exit ticket. This is a pre-assessment that I'm doing on body parts where the students are collaborating. And let's see, I have another one. Good job, Selvin. I have finger and nail, a hand and nose and head. Good job. Where the students are collaborating, telling me exactly what they remember so that we can jump into the new lesson. Okay, so after the formative assessment to see where the students remember, what the students remember from the previous lesson, now we're going to review and then we're going to do some activities. Once I finished with that collaborative, I went over the vocabulary words that we learned or reviewed the previous day. So I'm not going to go over that with you over here. It was just again on Nearpod. So we went over every single word that we had studied, and in order to continue with our different activities. So the first one was just kind of a formative assessment, wanted to know what they remembered, and the following activities, they're just going to do the same thing for me, just in different ways. Okay, so once again, there are activities that I used in my classroom to help students remember what they already know or learn what they should have learned last year if they came towards the end of the school year. The next activity that I used is something that I have discovered students like a lot. Who would have known, right? That they would like dictation, but they do. They are so competitive. They always want to be the best and to be the one that has the most words correctly written. So this is a strategy that you can use. You don't need to use it in Nearpod. They can use it anywhere. Google Docs, notebook, anything, right? So after we finished reviewing all of the words that we had learned the previous day and their spelling and their pronunciation, then I had a little dictation activity to see if they remembered how to spell the words. And that is what the clip is about. The student, just explaining that that is exactly what we did. So right now we're just going to practice the spelling of the words. And here we go. So another strategy that we can use to help our students is fill in the blank. That's what we are doing right now. So they are using the vocabulary words to fill in the blank, the sentences that I gave them after we review the words. So the next one was a traditional fill in the blank activity. That's all I did. I created some sentences where I was using the part of the body word, vocabulary word that we had studied. I modeled number 1 for them and number 2. And then I gave them a word bank on the bottom, and they were supposed to drag the correct word that will complete the sentence. So these sentences I wrote using, for some of them, the senses, the 5 senses, so that hopefully not only will be easier for them to identify the body part that was supposed to complete the sentence, but also that they could make a connection between the actual sense and the body part that was related to it. So once they finished with this one, something that I love about this with Nearpod is that when the student finishes and submits his or her assignment, they get an automatic feedback. So they tell them how many words they got correctly out of how many words were there in the actual activity. So I had 10 different sentences, so 10 different words, and they got an automatic feedback. Then also something else that I love about it is that then I can display the words on the smart board, and we can all see it, read it aloud so that we can practice diction, and also they can see why they missed it, and just look at the different spellings, how to complete sentences. We talk about if you see that a word has a period or full stop at the end, that's probably the last word of the sentence, things like that. So using every single opportunity as a learning tool for my students. So students get an automatic feedback on how they did on their assignments and how many words they got correct. So this is a great tool for our students to practice vocabulary. Well, I just wanted to bring this one up because you cannot really see it or appreciate it in the clip. It's so far away, and it's actually in the middle of the activity when I decided to take that small clip of my students working with it. It's one of the latest activities added by Nearpod. It's actually great. Students get to choose their own little character, and they'll have their name, so they're racing to see who reaches the top first. There are different ones. There's one for space. I think there's one for a submarine. Anyways, great activity, very competitive for students that like to be competitive, and it can be used with anything. It's actually a multiple choice type of activity. You can change the time. I mean, I don't have enough good things to say about it. And as I mentioned before, and as you can see in my during my clip, students just simply love working with this activity. Something else that we can use, and I know I didn't mention it before, but you probably saw it in one of the clips. Also, if you have students at home that you're working with, you could see that I had my other laptop on, and I don't know if you could see that I had different students actually joining me via Zoom. It's Nearpod is great for that as well, because the students that are studying with you remotely can also join your class real time, and they love to be included and being part of the class. So another activity that I simply absolutely love with Nearpod. Here we have another awesome activity that the students can use to practice vocabulary, and they actually love it. Um, so it's almost like a Kahoots, but a little bit different, more interactive. Okay, Janelli! Well done, look at that, Janelli! You're pulling ahead. Encouragement is always, and praise is always welcome. And I have Janelli on my Zoom this morning. Well, there's nothing else to say other than thank you. Thank you for joining me in this adventure. Thank you for your comments, your suggestions, your ideas, your questions. I just thank you for being here with me today. And with that being said, have a wonderful rest of your day.